while millions of people are screaming at their screens right now. Hearts racing, fists clenched, emotionally shattered by a game they have zero control over. There's a quiet group of people sitting somewhere nearby, completely unbothered. Not pretending, not faking it, just genuinely uninterested. And if that person is you, what you're about to hear might finally explain why. Because according to psychology, not caring about sports isn't about being boring. It isn't about lacking passion or missing some universal human instinct. It's actually a signal, a very specific signal, about how your brain is wired, what drives your reward system, and how you build your sense of identity. And the science behind it is more fascinating than most people realize. Let's start with dopamine, the molecule everyone talks about but few truly understand. When a sports fan watches their team score, their brain releases a sharp burst of dopamine. It's fast, it's intense, and it's unpredictable, which is exactly what makes it addictive. The brain loves uncertain rewards. It's the same mechanism behind slot machines, social media notifications, and even falling in love. But here's the thing. Not every brain responds to that kind of stimulation the same way. Some people have a dopamine system that is more internally regulated. They don't need external, high-arousal events to feel engaged with life. Their reward circuitry lights up from deeper, slower sources: creative work, long conversations, learning something new, solving a complex problem. It's not that they feel less. They feel differently. Psychologists call this a difference in sensation-seeking behavior. People who score lower on sensation-seeking scales tend to avoid high-stimulation environments, loud stadiums, tribal rivalries, emotional roller coasters tied to outcomes they can't influence. It doesn't mean they're passive. It means their nervous system simply doesn't crave that particular kind of intensity. Here's the surprising part. Research in identity psychology suggests that sports fandom is one of the most powerful forms of vicarious identity. Fans don't just watch a team. They become part of it. When their team wins, brain scans show activation in areas linked to personal achievement, as if they won. When the team loses, cortisol levels rise, just like after a personal failure. People who don't obsess over sports often have a strong internal locus of identity. Their sense of self isn't built on borrowed victories or collective belonging. It's built from within, through their own actions, thoughts, and personal growth. That's not arrogance. That's architecture. Their identity is simply constructed differently. And there's another layer worth understanding. Behavioral conditioning plays a role too. Many sports fans were raised in environments where sports were a social glue. Family rituals around game day, bonding with a parent through a shared team, social acceptance at school tied to sports knowledge. If you didn't grow up in that environment, your brain simply never formed those neural pathways. The emotional connection was never installed. Now, this is where it gets nuanced. On one hand, not obsessing over sports can be a sign of high cognitive independence. You're less influenced by groupthink, less emotionally reactive to manufactured drama, and more selective about where you invest your emotional energy. Psychologists would describe this as a high level of emotional autonomy, and it's a genuine strength. But there can be a quieter side to it too. Some people pull away from sports or any form of collective enthusiasm because vulnerability feels unsafe. Cheering openly, caring publicly, risking disappointment in front of others. That requires a kind of emotional exposure that not everyone is comfortable with. Sometimes it's not disinterest, it's protection. And both of those things can be true at the same time. So if you've ever felt like the odd one out, the one checking their phone while everyone else erupts over a goal, hear this clearly. You're not broken. You're not missing something everyone else was given. Your brain is simply wired to seek meaning in different places. Your reward system has its own rhythm. Your identity isn't borrowed, it's built. And in a world that constantly pressures you to care about what everyone else cares about, choosing your own emotional investments is not a flaw. It's a quiet form of intelligence. Here's something to sit with. The things you don't obsess over say just as much about your psychology as the things you do. Every disinterest is a boundary, and every boundary is a window into how your mind truly works. If this video felt like it was quietly describing you, you're going to want to see the next one. It explores the psychology of people who enjoy being alone but aren't lonely. and why science says their brains work in a way most people never expect. If that sounds like something you'd want to understand, subscribe, and I'll see you there.